Hey everyone, and welcome. So, have you ever wanted to say that one thing is, faster or stronger or way more interesting than something else? Of course you have. We do it all the time. Well, today, we're going to master this really simple but super powerful part of English. By the end of this, you'll be comparing everything like a pro. Let's jump right in.
Okay, to get us started, just take a look at these three animals. We've got a cat, a lion, and an elephant. How would we talk about their different sizes? We definitely need some special words to compare them, right?
Exactly. So we could say a cat is big. A lion is definitely bigger than a cat. But the elephant? Whoa, the elephant is the biggest of them all. See what happened there? The word big changed its form. That's pretty much what this whole thing is about.
So, these special words, bigger and biggest, have a name. They're called comparatives and superlatives. And honestly, you're going to use them all the time to describe the world. So let's figure out exactly how they work. I promise, by the end of this, you'll feel totally confident using them. All right, let's break this down. When we're comparing stuff, there are basically three different levels, or what we call degrees. I like to think of it like turning up the volume on a word. Okay, so the first level is what we call the positive degree. Don't let the name fool you. It's super simple. It's just the normal, basic adjective, like tall. You use it when you're just describing one thing. No comparison happening at all. For instance, this is a tall building. Easy, right? Simple as that. Next up, we have the comparative degree. Now this is where the action starts. We use this when we're comparing exactly two things. Usually we just tack an ER onto the end of the word. So you wouldn't just say the building is tall, you'd say this building is taller than that one. See? A direct face-off between two buildings. And then we have the grand finale, the superlative degree. This is what you pull out when you're comparing a whole group of things, three or more. This one tells you which thing is the absolute champion, the number one. It's not just taller. It is the tallest building in the entire city, the top of the top. Okay, so now we know what they are, but how do we actually make these words? Let's start with the most common rule, the one you're going to use all the time. This is for all the short and simple words. It's actually super easy. You take a short word, one with just one syllable, like small. To make it comparative, you just add ER. Boom, smaller. And for the superlative, you just add EST, and you get smallest. Seriously, for most short words, that's the whole trick.
And check this out, this rule is so consistent, it just works for tons of common words. Cold becomes colder, then coldest. Fast becomes faster, then fastest. Strong becomes stronger, and you guessed it, strongest. Once you see the pattern, you can't unsee it.
All right, you knew this was coming, right? It's English, so of course there are a few little spelling rules we need to know. But don't worry, I promise these ones are actually really simple and easy to remember. Okay, rule number one. If a word already ends with an E, like large, English makes it easy on us for once. We don't add another E. No, you just add the R to get larger and the S to get largest. See, pretty logical. All right, rule number two. You'll see this with short words like big. Look at the last three letters, B-I-G. That's a consonant, a vowel, and a consonant. When you see that little sandwich, you have to double the last letter before you add your ending. That's why big becomes bigger and biggest. It just helps with the pronunciation.
And our last little spelling tweak is for words that end in Y, like happy. This one's a classic. You just switch that Y to an I, and then you add your ER or EST. So happy turns into happier and happiest. You're going to see this one all over the place, for sure.
Okay, so you might be thinking, that's great for short words, but what about longer words? Or what about words that are just weird? Well, we've got a plan for those too, and believe it or not, it's actually even easier.
Yeah, for longer words, anything with two or more syllables, like expensive, we don't mess with the ending at all. We just put a word in front of it. For the comparative, we use more, so more expensive. For the superlative, we use the most expensive. How great is that? No spelling rules to worry about.
And now, it's time to meet the rebels. These are the irregular words that don't follow any rules. Some of our most common words are like this. Good doesn't become gooder. No way, it becomes better and then best. And bad becomes worse and worst. There's no trick to these, you just kind of have to learn them. But you hear them so often, it'll become natural really fast. All right, we've got all the rules down. Theory is great, but now it's time to put these words into action. Because knowing the words is one thing, but actually using them in a sentence, that's the real goal.
So here are two little words that are absolutely crucial. They're like best friends with comparatives and superlatives. When you use a comparative, you need the word than to link the two things you're comparing. Like a car is faster than a bicycle. And when you use a superlative, you almost always need the right in front of it. A plane is the fastest. Don't forget those two.
All right, you ready for a quick pop quiz? Let's see what you've learned. Here's the sentence. This book is than the movie. The word we're using is good. What do you think goes in that blank?
And the answer is better. This book is better than the movie. Did you get it right? Remember, good is one of those special irregular words. And since we're comparing just two things, the book and the movie, we need the comparative form, which is better.
Okay, round 2. Here's the next one. She is blank person in our class. The word this time is tall. What's the right form to use here?
Yes, it's the tallest. She is the tallest person in our class. Because we're comparing her to the whole group, everyone in the class, we have to use the superlative. And remember its little partner word? You need the. Perfect.
You guys did an amazing job. So let's just do a super quick recap of the main points. Rule 1. For short words, add ER and EST. Rule 2. For long words, use more and most. Rule 3. Don't forget those special words like good and bad. And Rule 4. The golden rule. Use than with comparatives and the with superlatives. That's pretty much the whole shebang.
And there you have it. You now know the basics for comparing pretty much anything in English. So to leave you with something to think about, I have a question. What is the most beautiful place you have ever seen? Notice what I did there? Go ahead and try to answer it for yourself. Thanks so much for joining me today.